you have the Democrat Party that's trying to keep its head above water right now, dealing with the messaging of Biden's mental acuity, and then also dealing with the border issue. And they're actually outmaneuvering Republicans on the border because Republicans can't deal with messaging. The Republican Party's a mess. The RNC is a mess. They're broke. And I'll just again remind folks that the previous president handpicked the RNC chair, Ronna McDaniel. And to his credit, he's like, yeah, she's a disaster. She has to go. So he has suggested as co-chair his daughter-in-law. Now, I think that this gives a lot of, and I know Lara Trump, she's very nice. That has nothing to do with this, though. That has nothing to do with this issue. I don't care how nice someone is. This just gives off a lot of the optic of impropriety. We don't need dynasties, and we don't need people having their friends and family run the RNC. And I just think that this is a major, this is not a I don't think this is not a serious suggestion. I think she's very valuable to his campaign. I don't think she would actually be a great choice as RNC chair because you're too close to the campaign. And again, it gives off the major air of impropriety, especially at a time when the president is, again, he brought in with his PACs, I think, 43 million, and his legal bills were 50 million. Most of the money, maybe all, that he's raising through his PACs are going towards the legal fight. And that's important because that means that he's going to have to rely more heavily on RNC funds. Well, it's not just him that has to rely more heavily on RNC funds. They also have to look at all the other little groups that they work with that help fund all of the other congressional races, the Senate races, etc., the gubernatorial races. All of that filters down from it. And they want to make sure that they can maintain some control of the House, and they're trying to just keep the margins what they are in the Senate because there's no way I'd be shocked if Republicans took back the Senate. Now you can see why there might be an air of impropriety. If you have your daughter-in-law as the co-chair of the RNC, and if there is going to be an inordinate amount of financial attention paid to his campaign over what the RNC is also required to do with these down ballot races, that's going to be, you want to talk about a civil war within the RNC and the Republican Party, you're going to get it. It just gives off the air of impropriety. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think that this is, I just don't think that she was particularly made for this role. And I don't have tolerance for people who take it as a personal insult. It's not. That's just the way it is. And it's just, there's too much optic of impropriety there to even the people that you need. And it's just not an appropriate thing. The other folks that they were talking about being co-chair is Michael Watley. And this guy has done some stuff with the North Carolina GOP, but a lot of people, including some of Trump's hardcore supporters that have worked on his campaign in different states, have said that is awful. That's an awful pick. And I've been hearing that from a lot of people because I have friends who work in the Trump camp and they are not happy with us. He apparently got sued by his own delegates. And I've had a couple of people, including Lorraine, send me this. North Carolina Republicans sued him because he rigged his own chairman's race. Michael Watley did, so he got sued. He doesn't have a lot. People who are even in the Trump camp don't even have the highest opinion of him. This is bad because, again, you're swapping out Ronna McDaniel, which was a friend and a favor, with a daughter-in-law and a co-chair with this guy. No. Guys, do you want to lose in 2024? I'm asking that seriously because this is how you lose. I want to win, and if that includes offending people who put more of a priority on demonstrating loyalty to a politician than they do to ensuring that our freedoms are protected by winning in 2024, then I don't care. I will offend you. This is not how you win. That is a disaster. If they go through it, that the RNC isn't a serious party, and I would highly encourage you to not give a dime to them. I'm telling you that now, don't give a dime to them, but I definitely wouldn't give a dime to them on that. That's not a serious move. That's not a serious move by a serious party. It's just a giant disaster, a disaster in the making. So Ronna McDaniel was bad enough. And again, that was a Trump pick. And now she's out. She's apparently that's official. They just need to, Trump needs to not be involved in picking the RNC chair. He needs to not be involved in it. You can talk about how he makes good business decisions and how he can listen to other folks in times when he needs to, but he does not have a stellar track record when it comes to picking folks. This would not be a good move. If that upsets people, then it upsets people. But I'm not going to sit here and not say the truth because I'm worried about offending sensitivities. I'm more concerned about winning in 2024 than offending someone's sensitivities. That's the same logic that got us into this mess with the trans movement. People are so worried about offending someone's political sensitivities that we can't even use proper terminology when we talk about biological junk. I'm not going to worry about offending someone's sensitivities when it comes to talking about scientific, statistical, and financial reality concerning elections in the RNC. So it's just a disaster all around. And that's just not, I just don't, that's not any of the things that we need to do. And really, I mean, I don't even know why that would consider it, why that would even be considered. It's just and this is what the New York Times had reported this morning, that Ronna was they said last Tuesday she was stepping down. Apparently now it's like official at this point, but the RNC, their spending has to be completely dedicated on these areas that maximize wins and keep seats and keep Congress and keep Senate, and that we don't have an inordinate amount of spending in one area as opposed to another area. And having his daughter-in-law is just inappropriate as the chair. And then the Watley guy who's the North Carolina GOP chair, I mean, literally he got sued by his own party members. I just don't think that having a family member of the nominee for president lead the party, that's too third world country for me. I don't like it. Now they have to meet after the South Carolina primary. The RNC will meet, and then they're going to make the determination as to what they're going to do next. And they'll have their votes. But so far, those are the names that have been thrown in.